Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. I was going to make a soup and I started doing it and I thought, you know what? I'm going to turn the camera on because this soup is amazing. It is one of our favorite soups and it is freezing outside. I think the feel like temperature is 17. That is freezing to us Southerners. Like, it is really cold, especially being that a couple of days ago we were at 75. So it's a huge swing. So I'm gonna make soup for supper tonight. I'm grabbing an onion that really needs to get used. It's starting to sprout. I hope it's okay. You know what? That might be too small of an onion to use. Let's get a bigger onion. Wow, onions are starting to go bad. I don't think that one's good either. Man, oh man. And our garlic's not good. The perfect time to start the pantry challenge because we really need to get some stuff used in our pantry. Hence this bag of sprouting onions. Oh, smells like there's not good onions in here. I really wanted to do a quick project. Okay, let me find a good onion and I'll be right back. Okay, I had to run out to my compost and put a whole bunch of onions in the compost because they were beyond me even trying to save them. So we're gonna use this one. This one hopefully we can save. So I have a pretty busy afternoon. I'm trying to get supper started a little bit earlier. It's 3:30 right now. We have to go and pick up our Azure pickup this afternoon at 5:30. So I'm gonna make our favorite soup tonight because again, it's freezing. We're gonna be outside with the Azure and I wanna be able to come home and have something nice and warm waiting for me. So we're gonna make this soup. I'm gonna make a broccoli, cheese, and potato soup. I think I've shown you guys in the past how I make this soup, but it's definitely worth showing you again. And I thought, why not film? If I'm going to be making it and going and doing my Azure, might as well turn the camera on and film it for you guys because I wanted to show you what I'm getting for my last Azure order before we start this pantry challenge. So today is the 30th of January. So we start the pantry challenge in 2 days. I'm going to pick up a couple of things for New Year's Eve tomorrow. Oh, I need to save these actually. Let me go grab my scrap bag. Save all my veggie scraps in the freezer so that when I go and make my bone broth or my veggie stock, I have all the frozen scraps to use. I will leave this recipe linked for you guys below. So I'm just getting a carrot chopped and an onion chopped. The recipe calls to use a celery in this also. I do have some chopped celery in my freezer, but we honestly don't like it. Actually, I will use some because we're going to be pureeing this, so you won't be able to get the texture of the celery, so it'll be fine. I'm just not a super fan of celery, and either is Steven, so I usually leave it out if it's not going to be pureed, but if it'll be pureed, then that's fine. I'm gonna set these aside before I chop them. I'm gonna peel 2 potatoes. I like to get everything pre-prepped when I'm making this soup. That way I can just dump it all in and it's already done. I don't like to have my butter melting and then still trying to peel and chop the potatoes. So it just works well for me to pre-prep everything ahead of time. I'm just using a white potato for this. These are our Azure potatoes that we got last month. I've still not canned them. That is on probably next week's agenda because I think I mentioned in that haul, they're already starting to sprout. They sprout very quickly. That's why I said if you're not going to use a lot of potatoes all at once, don't get a lot of them from Azure because they're organic. They don't have that stuff that conventional grocery stores spray on the potatoes to prevent them from sprouting quickly because they're organic, so they will sprout, and especially because I don't have them stored in a cold cellar. I could probably put them in my garage because it is freezing out there. Rinse off the carrot, rinse the potatoes, get a bowl for these potatoes. We're not going to be pureeing the potatoes, so I am going to chop these really small into tiny cubes. Guys, I am so excited. Get to use my new knives. Steven surprised me and he got me a new knife set. I have wanted this knife set for a very long time. Oh my gosh, it is so nice chopping with sharp knives. My knives are so dull and I just needed a good set. So he got me these for Christmas and I'm so excited. When I opened the present, I said, oh, so you got a gift for both of us. He's like, no, those are for you. And I said, well, you like my cooking, so they're technically for both of us. I don't mind getting household gifts for Christmas because honestly, that's what's on my list and that's what I like. So makes my life easier. I hope you guys had a good Christmas. Let me know in the comments if you got any special gifts that you were looking forward to, or, you know, just what you guys did for Christmas. We just had a very, very quiet Christmas. We went out for dinner Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we just stayed at home. We smoked a turkey breast, and then the next day it was actually our wedding anniversary. So we celebrated our wedding anniversary and just had another very quiet, chill day. That is the potatoes pre-chopped. They're not super small. I have a medium-sized carrot and I'm just gonna dice this into somewhat small pieces. It doesn't matter because we're gonna be throwing it in the food processor, but if I do the smaller I cut them, the less my food processor has to work. Okay, so we got 1 carrot chopped. I'm using about a medium-sized onion here. Just gonna cut the middle part out because that's not the best. It's kind of yucky. And again, same thing, we're going to throw this in the food processor. So we'll just do like a quick chop on it. Okay, and again, like I said, I'm not a fan of celery, but because we are throwing this in the food processor, I'm going to use it in this. It is buried in my freezer though, so see if we can find it. I store my flour that I don't use right away in here, and one of the bags exploded in my freezer. It is full of flour dust. Okay, where's my celery? Maybe it's not in here. Maybe it's my other freezer. Found some. This is golden celery, so it looks white because it is white. Just gonna use my mini food processor. Perfect for this job. So this recipe says to use 1 celery stalk. So we'll just put in some of this. It's frozen, but the food processor will chop it up. That's good. We'll use too much. We'll take this big chunk out. We'll put our carrot and our onion in here. Hopefully it'll all fit. Maybe it won't. There we go. Okay. That locked in place, and we're gonna chop it up. I finally grated it. Well, not grated it. Chopped it up. I have a pretty big, heavy stock pot that I'm going to use to make this soup. We're going to turn it on to a medium-high heat, and then we are going to add about 1 tablespoon of butter to this. I'm trying to thaw some butter out. It's a little cold in my house right now, and I want to make cookies. So I'm trying to get some butter to room temperature. And I just put it on the stovetop because it comes to room temperature quicker. I'm going to take that off the stove top right now because I realize we need to get cheese grated, and we also need to get our broccoli out of the freezer, which is in the garage. So let me go grab the broccoli, get some cheese grated, and then we can do it. Again, I don't like to not have these steps done because I end up burning the soup. I had a whole bunch of cheese grated, but then I ended up making nachos the other day, and now I have to grate my cheese again. Oh, and for the broccoli, we're just going to use this stuff from Azure. It is really, really small florets. I don't know if it's going to focus. Also freezer burn, so pantry challenge. We're going to get that used. I'm actually excited to get this pantry challenge started because I have so many things that I need to use. How much cheese do we need? We need 1.5 cups of cheese. Let's put back in the fridge. Measure out 1 cup of milk. All right, I think we're good to go. Let's get this back on the heat and put it on a medium so that this butter starts to melt. Now that the butter is melted, we're gonna add in our chopped veggies. I'm also gonna add some garlic. The recipe says 2 garlic cloves, but we love our garlic here, so I'm probably gonna put in, I don't know what this is, maybe 2 tablespoons, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of garlic. And it's frozen, pre-minced. So we'll just add that in with the veggies. And we're just gonna saute these until they get nice and soft. Usually takes about 5 minutes, especially because we have them chopped so finely. thought I had some pre-shredded Parmesan. I do not. So I need to get about a tablespoon of Parmesan grated. I'm probably going to grate a little bit more than a tablespoon. That way we can put some on our soup when it's done. I usually like to do this in advance with my food processor. I just put it on the shredding thing and just shred this whole block up. And then I just keep it in a mason jar in the fridge, but I just haven't had time to do that. Keeping an eye on this also and just stirring it frequently because I don't want it to burn. Do you ever notice when you need to do something really quickly, like you need a quick project, nothing is pre-done? Like my onions were going bad. I needed to shred all my cheese. Oh, that's the way it works. These are nice and soft, so we will move to the next step, which is adding our flour. So I'm just going to use some all-purpose flour in this, and I'm going to use 2 tablespoons. You can use gluten-free flour in this. You can use like a whole wheat flour. Use whatever you like, whatever you normally would use. Now we need to add some salt and pepper. I'm going to add quite a bit of salt to this because my broth is not salted. So just salt to taste. I'm probably going to end up adding probably about a tablespoon of salt again because my broth has 0 salt in it. I'm going to stir all that flour and salt and pepper and get it nice and smooth. We are going to use chicken broth in this. You can use veggie broth. You can use whatever you like. I just find that chicken broth is what we prefer. We need 2.5 cups of this chicken broth. Add that in. And we're gonna add it slowly because we have flour in here and I don't want to get this lumpy. You know what? We're just gonna add the rest of the chicken broth. So I added 1 quart of chicken broth. And then we're gonna add 1 cup of whole milk. If you use plant-based milk, then you can use that as well. Whatever milk you use, you can use it. Okay, and then we're gonna add our potatoes. I'm using 2 diced medium potatoes, and I'm just using a yellow potato, but you can use whatever you like in this. That's pretty much the theme of all my recipes. You can just use whatever you have available. Just taste it along the way, and these flavors, like potatoes, it really doesn't matter what kind of potato you use. Whether you're using a russet, yellow, red, doesn't matter. They all will taste great in this. And if you don't like carrots, leave the carrots out. It's very open to whatever your family likes. We're gonna bring this to a boil, and then we are gonna cover this and we're gonna cook it for 15 minutes. We haven't added the broccoli yet. We're just pretty much trying to cook these potatoes. If you wanna use canned potatoes in this, this would actually speed the process up even more. You wouldn't have to worry about cooking the potatoes. You would just pretty much heat them up so you wouldn't have to do the 15 minutes. Trying to use my fresh stuff up and save my canned stuff. We are at a boil. I'm gonna put the lid on and I'm gonna turn it down just a little bit because I don't want this to burn. What I actually wanna do before is I just wanna test the salt, make sure it's salty enough. I could probably use a little bit more salt, but we'll add it once we get to near the end. Well, let's get the lid on that. Get that down to a lower heat. Set the timer for 15 minutes. The smaller you dice the potatoes, the quicker this will cook. If you have them as a bigger dice, obviously this is going to take a little bit longer for them to cook, but 15 minutes should be good with the size that I diced them. We'll get our broccoli measured out right now too. So we have that ready to dump in. It says 4 cups or about 2 heads of broccoli florets, and you want to have them chopped into small pieces. This is why I love these frozen broccoli from Azure Standard. They are in perfect bite-sized pieces. So we're going to put 4 cups in here, maybe a little bit more than 4. If your family doesn't like broccoli, you could use cauliflower in this. You could use kale also. That would be really delicious. Again, you don't have to use broccoli. Just do what your family likes. Another thing that I've done in the past is I've added sausage into this and it was amazing. I added bacon. All of those things were really, really delicious. This is such an easy, flexible recipe to just kind of do what your family likes. Freezer burnt broccoli measured out. I'm gonna go put this back in the freezer. Our goal is to get eaten through this in the next month. I'm so glad the Pantry Challenge is here because I have so many things that just need to get eaten and I'm just ready to just have a no spend month. I'm just gonna frequently stir it. That way we don't get anything sticking to the bottom, which we have here. This is boiling over a little bit. I have this on low heat. Let's check the potatoes. Yeah, they're soft. The potatoes are done. So that took about 10 minutes. So we're gonna add our broccoli next. We have our 4 cups. Stir that. The only thing I don't like about this pot is the handles get very, very hot. The whole pot gets hot. Okay, and then we're gonna add about 1 tablespoon of Parmesan to this. Just some grated Parmesan. Actually, I'm gonna add more than that. We'll add maybe about 2 tablespoons. And then we're gonna stir this really good. And we wanna cook this until the broccoli is cooked. And once that broccoli is cooked, then we can add in the other cheese. Let's give it a taste and see. I think we need to add more salt to it. Yeah, we'll just add maybe about half a teaspoon more salt. Just adjust it to what you like. I'm just waiting until that broccoli gets cooked. It doesn't take long because it's only frozen and the soup's pretty hot. Because we have to go and pick up the Azure, we're not going to eat this right away. I am not going to add the cheese right now because you add the cheese right before you're going to eat it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the heat off, take this off of the element, and then we'll finish making it when we get home. We unfortunately have to leave very, very soon, so we will not have time to eat this before we leave. But that is fine. We will have a nice hot soup to come home to, which is amazing. So I'm just going to put the lid on this. I'm going to take it off of the element because this element stays hot for a while. And then we'll finish it when we get home. I'm going to put this cheese in the fridge. Hopefully Stephen will be able to film some of it for you and show you guys what our Azure pickup's like. But our pickup's at 5:30 and it will be pitch black at 5:30. So I don't know how much I'm actually going to get to show you. But what I will do is I will show you when we get home, and I will show you the Azure haul, and I'll show you kind of the stuff. Ooh, that lighting. I have to relearn how to do this filming at night when it's, well, it's not night, but when the sun is down. My lighting in my kitchen is horrible. So relearn where I can put you guys so that I don't look like a ghost. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys what I'm picking up from Azure. What I'm picking up is going to be our last grocery haul for 2 months. I'm going to try to do 2 months of no spend on groceries. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that with this pantry challenge, I still will continue to buy my dairy. So I will still get my milk, my cream. I'm not going without that. I never do. And it's just, that's something that I, it's part of my pantry challenge. I buy dairy. The other thing that I may make an exception for is salads. So I really, in the winter, need to make sure that I'm getting fresh greens and fresh produce. I do not want to stop having that just because I'm participating in a pantry challenge. So I may pick up some more fresh vegetables and fruit within the 2 months. One thing that I will not be picking up though is things like chips, bread, canned goods, treats, things like that. That is all pantry challenge stuff. If I want to have a cookie, I will make a cookie. The thing with the pantry challenge is I pretty much already all do that. I will never ever go out and buy cookies. Actually, that's a lie. We will go and buy cookies as like a treat sometimes if we're like hosting or something, but usually I make it from scratch. So those are kind of my little rules that I have with this pantry challenge. But yeah, let's go and get our stuff and then we'll get it home and we'll get it all unpacked and put away. So I will see you guys either at the Azure haul or when we get back. So we are on the way to get our Azure and look at the beautiful sunset. Oh, it's so beautiful. Love it. We just made it home. So here's all of our stuff. So I am going to get this unloaded and then I can show you what I got this month. This is definitely a big order for me. I mean, I don't have like huge orders, but this is probably one of my bigger orders. Stephen just brought the rabbits' waters in. We had to go and put some hay in their things because it's so cold, and we had to bring their waters in at night because they freeze overnight. I'm going to show you guys what I got so I can get it put away and we can finish supper because we are both starving. Steven's on breaking the box down duty. Okay, we'll start with the boring stuff. So I got some toilet paper. I normally order a big thing, like 2 24 packs, but they were actually out of stock. So I ended up ordering this, and I'm really glad I did, because you actually end up getting more tissue in this than the other stuff that I order. So this is actually a better deal to get these. So I ordered 3 of them this month. Should be good for a while. And then I got some Castile soap. We are loving this for a body wash. I prefer using the bar soap to this stuff, like the liquid stuff. So I got 3 of the tea trees. We've not tried these ones yet, so we like the tea tree scent. So we're gonna give these ones a try this month. And then this was something that actually was on sale. It was part of their sale that they were having. It's a garden planner, and I just thought I'm gonna get it. I think it was only like $2 maybe. I'm gonna put all the prices below for you guys so you can see what I got. A lot of this stuff was on sale, and that is why I purchased it, because it was on sale and I just needed to restock some of it. So this was another thing that was on sale. I got some baking powder. I didn't need very much of it, so I just got a little bit of this. Same with the arrowroot. This was something else that was on sale, so I just got a little thing just to kind of top up what I already have. I have a pretty good supply of it, but because it was on sale, I just wanted to get a little bit more to stock up with. And then same with the baking soda. Now the baking powder and the baking soda I will put in my freezer, and it helps them stay fresh a little bit longer. And same with this, I will leave this probably in its container until I'm ready to use it. And then this is a new to me product. I'm gonna try to use this instead of like a shortening in things like pie crust and biscuits. I thought I would give this a try. I did get some butter this month, but this you can also use as a butter replacement. So I thought this would be good to have just as like a backup. If I run out of butter, I can use this stuff. So we'll see how this is. I've heard good things about that. And then this is the butter that I got. This is the stuff that I love. I get it every time I order butter. It's delicious. It comes in 4 little sticks. So I got 6 of them this month. So I'll just add these to the freezer. And then when I need them, I just take them out and then put them in my fridge. They store for a very, very long time in the freezer. So I like to get a lot when I order it. And this is something that looked interesting to me. I'm having a hard time keeping this floor clean. My broom just does not get it very clean. And I have heard really good things about this. I think it was a couple months ago I showed you guys on one of my hauls. I actually got an e-cloth for my windows, my car windows, to help with the condensation or the haze that you get on the windows. I've tried it a couple times and I'm not completely sold on it. It doesn't really seem to do very much, but maybe my windows aren't dirty enough. I don't know. So I thought I would give this e-cloth another try. So I think this thing is supposed to mimic a Swiffer. So this was actually on sale this month. That's why I decided to jump in and try it. I got the actual broom and it comes with this thing already attached. But because they were on sale, I decided to order a second one so that when I am cleaning this, I have another one available so that this one can dry and then I can use this one while this one's drying. So I ordered that. And then, ooh, this is fun. I want to try these. So oat groats, I can actually grind these in my mill and I can make an oat flour. So I'm going to give this a try. For some reason, oatmeal is irritating my stomach, and I don't know if it's the type of oatmeal I'm using. I've tried like using gluten-free one, and it still kind of bugs my stomach. So I have been looking to buy an oat flaker. Pretty much what an oat flaker is you get the oat groats. So this is what oatmeal is before it's squished down. And this machine you can buy, it's called a flaker. And pretty much what it does is you put the oat groats in it and it flakes it and turns it into like an oatmeal. I have yet to find a flaker. Everywhere I look, there's only been 2 websites that I can actually find this flaker on, and they're both out of stock. If you guys have a really good recommendation for an oat flaker, if you know of one, please leave it in the comments because I am in the market looking for one because I really want to try to make my own oatmeal and see if that makes a difference and see if it doesn't bug my tummy as much. But in the meantime, for recipes that call for oat flour, I'm going to try to just grind my own oat flour and see if again that makes a difference. And then I got some nettle leaf. I want to make some teas with this, so I got some fresh nettle. I don't currently grow that and I really need to grow it. I've heard it grows wild here. Stinging nettle that grows wild here. But anyways, I don't grow it. I don't have any. So I just thought I would get that. And this is 4 ounces. I've made a mistake before and ordered 1 pound of dried herbs and it has lasted me for 2 years. Which they really don't last very long because once you open it, they expose to air and then they do tend to get a little stale. I wouldn't recommend ordering a pound unless you're going to use a lot of it. And then this is one thing that was on sale also during those Azure sales days was some cinnamon, and I was getting a little bit low on it, so I decided to stock up on this stuff. I do love cinnamon in baked goods. And then lemons started to go on sale right before my order closed, so I decided to order some lemons. I'm going to have these in some tea. I was debating actually ordering a case of lemons and seeing if I could make some lemon marmalade because I really want to learn how to make marmalade, and I love orange marmalade and I wanted to experiment also making some lemon curd. I didn't end up ordering it though because I am actually really strapped for time and I didn't want to get another project that I potentially wouldn't get to or that would cause me stress trying to get to the project. So I'm giving myself some grace. I did not order the case of lemons. I told myself, I'm like, this is not going to be the year that I'm going to learn to make marmalade. I'm just going to have to buy it and I'll learn when I have a little bit of extra time. But I just controlled myself and just got this little small thing. I actually don't know. Oh, it's 2 pounds. Yeah, so I got 2 pounds of those. And then I love getting my feminine products from Azure. They're a little bit more expensive, but I love the fact that these are perfume free and organic. So I got a good stock of those. Ordered some 5-pound things of cheese. This was actually not quite 5 pounds. So I need to check my order and make sure I wasn't charged for the full 5 pounds because you're charged with weight for these. I have definitely been charged when it is over 5 pounds. So this is a smoked cheddar cheese. This is the Petaluma Gold smoked cheddar. I have never tried this before. I've tried the regular smoked cheddar, but not this particular brand. And I've heard the Petaluma Gold is amazing. We actually used to live right by Petaluma. That's why I was like, ooh, I want to try that. And then I also ordered some mozzarella cheese. During the pantry challenge, we are going to be making a lot of pizzas ourselves, so I wanted to get a good stock of the mozzarella. As you've seen when I was shredding up my cheese for the soup, I don't pre-shred my stuff and put it in the freezer. You can definitely do that, and it does make the cheese last a little bit longer, but as long as you are not handling the cheese and you're just cutting off little pieces of it and not actually physically touching the cheese, that 5-pound block of cheese will last me a very, very long time. It's once you start getting the cheese out a lot and you're handling it, it does make it prone to molding a lot quicker. So we just kind of have a rule where you just cut off what you need and make sure you're not actually touching the cheese. But with that mozzarella, I might run that through my processor and just pre-shred everything and then put the shreds into the freezer, because the mozzarella, pretty much the only thing we're going to use that for right now this time of year is going to be with pizzas or like a grilled cheese, and even the grilled cheese we can just use it pre-shredded. So I might do that with the mozzarella. But with the cheddar, I'm going to leave that whole because sometimes we like to have sliced cheese with crackers. I have some frozen blueberries that really need to go into the freezer. Got 5 pounds of these, and this is how they come. They're pretty much thawed, so I need to get those into the freezer really quickly. But I've been enjoying having the frozen fruit on my waffles and my pancakes in the morning, so getting some of those. And then this is a soda ash. Another word for soda ash is washing soda. I don't know how many pounds this is. 50 pounds. Yeah, so that's 50 pounds of soda ash. The bag actually ended up ripping when we took it out of the truck It's really, really heavy. But I only have to order it once every 2 years. And that is what I use to make my dishwashing detergent. I'll actually leave that video linked up here for you guys. I did a video showing you how I make my dishwasher stuff. It's amazing. It works good. I do have to pre-rinse my dishes before I put them into the dishwasher though. I can't put something that has like hardened egg on it. It just wouldn't come clean with this dishwashing detergent. But it's really easy to make, and when you can buy your ingredients in bulk, it is so much more economical, and it's just a low toxic thing, so I don't feel worried that I'm eating yucky stuff off of my plates, because I'm thinking like when you're washing your dishes, you're washing them with stuff and then you're eating off of that plate, and I just don't like the idea of, you know, toxins and stuff on that. So I try to keep anything that I'm washing my dishes with to be very, very low toxin, because I'm eating food off of that, and you want to make sure that, you know, it doesn't have chemicals all over it. Anyways, that's the soda ash, and I get it once every 2 years, and I was due to get it now, so got it on this order. And then I got some more of these brown Rice Krispies. These have just been amazing when I'm just craving cereal. Just have some of these, love it. Put some banana in it. It's just a good snack to have on hand. We just got a couple more things left. And then I got these this month. These are these cute little star pastas. What prompted me to actually order those was in last month's Azure flyer, they had this in there. The flyer I'm talking about is their sales flyer that you usually get with the order. So this is this month's. A lot of times they will have recipes in there, and that's why I love getting them. So anyways, this was in last month's, this one for this soup, and I thought that looks delicious and that will be perfect for winter. So I wanted to order these little star things, and they had them on sale this month. So I got 3 of them. Most of the pasta from this company actually was on sale this month, and I was getting low on these ones. So I just restocked with 3 of those boxes. And then we got our go-to sour cream. Always get this stuff, love it. It was actually on sale this month. So got a couple of them. I always get 2 a month, and that seems to last us for the month. And then I think this is the last thing. I ordered Steven some coffee so that we do not run out of coffee during the pantry challenge. I actually asked him ahead of time. I said, what is a couple of things that you will be really upset if we run out of during the pantry challenge? Like, you cannot find alternatives. One of the things he mentioned to me was coffee. Like, he's a coffee drinker. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I wouldn't be so bothered by it. I could just have tea, but I guess I wouldn't want to run out of my tea either. And then the second thing he mentioned was his coffee creamer. He likes to drink coffee creamer. I think I've mentioned that on the last haul that I did, that I get him coffee creamer from the grocery store. Anyways, so we're going to pick up another thing of coffee creamer tomorrow. That way he'll have enough to get him through the pantry challenge. And I know the whole purpose of the pantry challenge is not to stock up beforehand because you want to eat through your stuff. I'm really trying to reduce my spending those 2 months. One of the reasons, other than the fact that I showed you before, like all my freezer burn stuff that's got to get eaten through, but we also want to get our half cow ordered, and the price of beef has gone up insane. So I'm going to use some of the money that I'm saving from not getting groceries for these next 2 months and put that towards our beef order that we should be getting. I think the farmer said February was when he had the next beef order available. So I'll just save up the money that I'm saving from not getting groceries these 2 months and just put it into that beef order. Anyways, I'm going to get that frozen and fridge stuff put away, and then we will finish the soup because Steven just kept reiterating to me, I'm starving, I'm starving, I'm starving. So, and I said, I got to film the haul first and then we can finish supper. So I'm going to get that stuff put away, and then we'll finish the soup and we'll sit down and just relax. Okay, I got most of it put away. Well, at least the stuff that has to go into the freezer I got put away. So I'm just going to turn this back on to a medium heat, and we're going to get this heated back up. It's actually pretty warm still. I'm glad I added that extra amount of broth to it, because look at how thick that is. You know what? I think I'm actually going to add a pint of broth into this because that is very, very thick. What do you think? Should we add another thing of broth? I don't know what to do. I'm not going to add any more. He says he prefers it to be thicker, so we'll just leave it like that. Cheese out. Crunchy. Almost wishing I would have waited until we picked up the Azure order to grade that smoked cheddar in here, but we do need to get that one used first before we open up the other cheese. I just did another little taste test. I think I'm actually going to do a couple of little improvisions. That celery that I put in, it's really coming through. Like I can taste a lot of the celery, and I didn't put very much in, but it's very strong. I think what I'm going to do is actually put a little bit of smoked paprika in this, just to add a little bit of smoky flavor. I don't know what the smoked paprika is going to do to curb the celery taste, but that's all I can really taste. That worked. It actually does mild the celery down a little bit, and it gives it a little bit of a smoky taste. We're just heating this up. Everything's already cooked. We just want to get the soup hot so that when we add the cheese in there, it just melts. 1.5 cups of cheese, but we're not going to measure. We're just going to add with our hearts. This recipe states to add 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese, like a sharp cheddar cheese. And then it also says 2 slices of 2% American cheese. I've never added the sliced cheese before because I just usually add whatever cheese I have on hand. We're just gonna omit the 2 slices of the cheese. Okay, so that is boiling good. Off the heat, and then we will add our cheese. Remember, this is a cheese soup, so we're going to add a lot of cheese. And you don't have to add this much if you don't want to. There it is. All done. I am so excited to see what this year has in store for us. It's just, I love the new year. It's just such a new opportunity. I don't want to say a clean slate because it's really not necessarily a clean slate, but it's just new opportunities. I just feel like it's just a reset that we just really need. So I'm excited to start the pantry challenge. I love starting the year off this way and to bring you guys along with us. So thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys. Supper's ready! Steven has requested these. He loves these things. Not for me.